Well, good evening and welcome to Daily Decaf with Pastor Lisa. It's a time when we share a cup of decaf together and relax and release from the day any worries or anxieties, and we find comfort in God's Word together. Now, today I'd like to share with you something I've been thinking about lately, and that is making life harder than it needs to be. Sometimes life truly is difficult and we can't do anything about those times coming. They certainly come into life. Sometimes in this COVID world, everything just seems so difficult and one stress sort of snowballs into more and more and more. And it's easy to start to see everything as impossible or as frustrating. Today I want to share with you the scriptural story of a man who needed healing, and when that healing came in a much easier format than he was expecting, he was so offended that it wasn't a great, grand, glorious event, his healing. He almost let the healing pass him by. I will be reading from 2 Kings chapter 5, the healing of Naaman. Now Naaman, the commander of the army of the king of Aram, was a great man and in high favor with his master, because by him the Lord had given victory. The man, though a mighty warrior, suffered from leprosy. Now the Arameans, on one of their raids, had taken a young girl captive from the land of Israel. She had served Naaman's wife. And she said to her mistress, "If only my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him from his leprosy." So Naaman went in and told his Lord just what the girl from the land of Israel had said. And the king of Aram said, "Go then, and I will send along a letter to the king of Israel." He went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of garments. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, "When this letter reaches you, you will know that I have sent to you my servant Naaman, that you may cure him of his leprosy." When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes and said, "Am I God to give life and death? That this man sends word to me to cure a man of his leprosy. Just look how he is trying to pick a quarrel with me." The king of Israel is worried that the other king is simply starting to start a skirmish. But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, he sent a message to the king. "Why have you torn your clothes? Let him come to me, that he may learn that there is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman came with his horses and chariots and halted at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, "Go wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean." If your whole healing, your whole future, could be assured by simply dunking 7 times in a river, wouldn't you be grateful? But Naaman became angry and went away, saying, "I thought that for me he would surely come out and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and would wave his hands over the spot and cure the leprosy. Are not the rivers of the Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash in them and be clean?" He turned and went away in a rage. But his servants approached and said to him, "Father, if the prophet had commanded you to do something difficult, would you not have done it? How much more when what he said to you was, 'Go, wash, and be clean'?" So he went down and he immersed himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. His flesh was restored, like the flesh of a young boy, and he was clean. Now, I have to say I love this story because sometimes I have to admit I identify with it. Sometimes we equate the grand and the glorious as more meaningful than simple things. Sometimes we expect other people's undivided, full attention and urgency on our problems. And the truth is, God does always provide for us. God does always provide healing and wholeness, whatever that looks like in God's wisdom, but it's not always the way we expect it. And the lesson here is, if it is something simple that makes you happy, that makes you clean, that makes you whole, well, thank God that it is something simple. Thank God that it is something manageable and doable. And do not wish for harder things. Appreciate what comes to you, even if it's not in the way you expected. And do not pass up blessings because they look different than you anticipated. That is it for today, and I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Goodbye.